mockumentary brought to us by the people over at the Daily Wire, starring Matt Walsh. In this movie, Matt Walsh embarks on a journey to learn more about his whiteness and his white privilege and the inner racism that makes him the person that he is. This consists of sitting down with everyday people and anti-racist professionals and people who just know everything about, culture wars and things of those, lines, all for the right cost, of course. However, Matt Walsh, being completely aware that he's not very well liked by that group of people, he decides to undergo a disguise to make himself look like a DEI expert, and now he's on this journey to learn if he truly is racist. I have some familiarity with the Daily Wire. I'm not subscribed to their streaming service or anything because I just have so many at this point, but I obviously know who Ben Shapiro is, who Brett Cooper is, who Matt Walsh is. I mean, I mainly know Matt Walsh for his documentary, What is a Woman? But I had no idea that this movie was being made, and then I saw, the trailer for it, I saw the concept behind it, and it gave me some Borat vibes a little bit, and I'm a big fan of the movie Borat. This complete joke of a documentary where a guy dresses up in a disguise and just goes around and kind of just messes with people. The trailer looked interesting, the trailer looked funny, and above all, it looked entertaining. First of all, credit to Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, I thought, did a really good job in this movie. He's surprisingly hilarious. He kind of plays it off in like that Nathan Fillion kind of persona a little bit. Like if you ever watched the show Nathan For You, he kind of goes into that sort of vibe is what he gave me. Like kind of stoic, kind of bland, kind of just direct, but in a way with how he interacted with people, it made the situation really funny. And not to mention, this being a mockumentary, it's not like there's really a script here. It's not like he's really following a dialogue. He's very quick on his feet. He's very quick at how he responds to certain questions or how he offers people, certain explanations to certain topics that are being discussed. There never looked like there was a moment where someone really stumped him, and I was impressed with it. And yeah, getting to the concept of this movie, I think the concept in this movie, it's very shocking, but the way it's executed is oftentimes very funny. Because it really is incredible, the group of people, certain people that he talks to in this movie, what their take on racism really is. Because he kind of brings up in the movie, it's like, hey, as he was growing up, it's like, sure, you notice people of different colors, of different backgrounds and things like that, but you never really made a big fuss over it. It's just like, yeah, we just saw them as, normal people like us. They just don't look exactly like we do, but who cares? But now it's reached a point, these so-called experts, these people are trying to tell you, it's like, no, because you're white, you're automatically privileged, and because those people are of different color, you have to acknowledge that they are victims, that they've been oppressed by society, and you have to do your job to make them as comfortable as you can, to make them feel as good as they can be, to acknowledge that as a white person, you are inherently racist. It's a pretty wild concept, but I mean, that's exactly how these people think. And I love what Matt Walsh does is as he's discussing with these people and talking with them, you quickly see that with these people, there's almost no real solution. There's this one lady he has a conversation with. She's supposed to be this anti-racist professional, whatever the fuck she is. And the lady's talking about how she has a 4-year-old white daughter. This person's also white. And she talks about how disappointed she is in her 4-year-old daughter, that she's gravitating towards the white Disney princesses and not towards the Disney princesses of color. And then Matt Walsh talks about how his 3-year-old daughter's favorite Disney princess is Moana. First, the lady's very excited to hear that. But then he talks about the idea of his daughter dressing like Moana, for Halloween or something. The lady's like, she should not do that. That's cultural appropriation. That's stealing from another people's culture, which is a very white racist thing to be doing. And Matt Walsh kind of brings up, it's like, okay, so it's wrong to like white Disney princesses, but it's also wrong to love a colored Disney princess so much that you want to look like her or be like her or something like that. It's like there really is no healthy middle. There's another scene, Matt Walsh is working as this waiter for this dinner that's being held by these 2 women of color. They bring in a bunch of white women and, they basically tell them how, you're all racist, this country's going to hell, it's not worth saving, if you're a Republican, you're a Nazi, just, all that stuff. And Matt Walsh is constantly, like, interrupting, trying to project like he's on their side, dropping dishes, making the whole situation very uncomfortable for everybody, as if it's not already. Like, you see the conversations that are happening, you see what's going on, and it's pretty wild stuff that they're bringing up, and Matt Walsh just finds a way to, for the most part, I felt, really time the humor at just the right spot to make the scene a lot more funny. You know, making the people that he's messing with feel a little uncomfortable to bring us the entertainment. I really do love what he does, though. It's like every time he's interviewing someone that, you know, works in, like, you know, anti-racist professionalism, or he's talking with someone that feels they're an expert on what they're doing, he always, like, posts up the dollar figure amount that it took for this person to appear in this documentary, to sit down and have this conversation with him. And it really is ironic. It's like, these people claim they're social justice warriors, they want what's best for the minorities of America and everything like that, but, you know, everything comes with a price, and a pretty substantial one at that. Some of those prices I looked at and I was like, damn! So I do find it pretty funny that people are very passionate about their causes, but they don't feel it's important enough to tell people about this for free. They'll charge you a ton of money for it. But what Matt Walsh also does here that I think is really smart is he does also interview just normal everyday people, and what's refreshing to hear and what's good to hear on his side is there are people out there who clearly don't see this as a really big deal. Like, he'll talk to normal everyday white people and he'll be like, what have you done to recognize the racism in this country? And they're all just like, dude, I'm just sitting here enjoying myself. Why are we having this conversation? Why are you talking about it? It's like, no one here is making a big deal over the color of your skin, so why are you doing that? There's like one line in here that I really, really appreciate. He's sitting down with this guy who I think ran this auto shop or something like that. Sits down with him, he's talking to him about race, and the guy says, it's like, the color of your skin doesn't matter for me. If we both got cut, we would both bleed the same color. It's like, you and I are both human beings at the end of the day. What you look like's really not a big deal. How you carry yourself and how you treat people, that's what matters. That's really refreshing to see. It's like the majority of Americans, they don't have race at the forefront of their mind. They didn't just wake up every day and they're just like, okay, what can I do to make race the focal point of my life and my everyday, and do that for everybody? You know, for the majority of the people in this world, it's really not a big deal, but for the minority that believe it's the biggest deal in the world, they're very loud about it, and henceforth, it comes off as everybody wants it to be a big deal. I've always said, when I see situations like this happen, it's like, it's pretty wild seeing all the white people that were trying to say, like, oh, white people are racist. It's like, well, first of all, you're white, so who are you really to tell me if I'm being racist or not if you are the same color that I am? Or really, even kind of like going back to the conversation earlier at, like, you know, the mother who's mad at her little girl for liking white Disney princesses. It's like, what's the big deal of her liking white Disney princesses? Because it's like, if you flip it around like there and she was mad at her daughter for really liking the colored Disney princesses, oh man, you would see that woman's face on every magazine, her name would be heard everywhere, the United States would be burning from space. But no one sees that as a big deal. In fact, people see her as heroic because she's discouraging her daughter from liking people who are white. Like, it's pretty wild, the extremes that these people go to, and I like that Matt Walsh not only brought it to light, but poked fun at it in a very comedic way. But naturally, he's not able to completely get away with it. There's one scene in particular, people kind of quickly pick up who he is, and they figure out that he's kind of just there to mess with them and everything like that. But regardless, he milked it for as long as he could before he had to leave the situation, and he got some laughs out of it for sure. At least in my audience, he did. So all in all, am I racist? I had a good time with this movie. Matt Walsh, I thought, did a really good job here. I thought he asked the right questions. I thought he went about this the right way. I thought he was very funny, surprisingly, in his timing of the whole situation. I thought he played the DEI expert character very well. I mean, he clearly had people fooled. He clearly had people believing him that he was this, and I love seeing some of the interactions he got from certain people. It's pretty wild and extreme to see just how far people are taking this issue and just how crazy they believe in certain situations regarding this issue. But at the same time, it's also refreshing seeing that there are people out there who don't want to make it a big deal. In fact, feel that by making it a big deal, that's actually the really racist way to go about it. It's certainly not on the level of mockumentaries like Borat or anything like that, but it was definitely an entertaining watch, that's for sure. And in the end, I'll kind of compare it to Borat in this way. Borat was about asking ridiculous questions to normal people. Am I Racist was about asking normal questions to ridiculous people. Someone made that comparison out there. I'm just like, yeah, I gotta bring that up because that is the perfect way to describe it if you're gonna compare the two. And yeah, it's been interesting to see how people out there are reacting to this movie. Some people are really enjoying it. Some people are despising it. And yeah, I guess we'll see what kind of response I get towards this. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. And as always, definitely leave a comment, like, subscribe. I will see you all next time.